Welcome to the 8th episode of the Influential Wellnesspreneur podcast. My name is Sebastian Hilbert and I'm the Wellnesspreneur expert. I help wellness business owners to build their business with an effective online presence without the technical overwhelm. If you want to know why your website is not working or how to make it work for your business, refer to the podcast notes and you can find the right information there. Today's episode is with Yoko Inoue, the Raw Food Alchemist. How are you, Yoko?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very well. Really great to have you here today.
Yeah, nice to be here.
It's great to have Yoko here today. She actually lives in Melbourne and is the founder and owner of Melbourne-based organic and raw food living food cafe. It's a really great concept. I have looked up over the last couple of weeks, and it's really about harmonizing and doing the best you can for your body and soul. Yoko studied macrobiotic lifestyle at the Kushi Institute in Japan, followed by a study in holistic nutrition, which really opened up her passion for nutritious, natural foods, and especially in the raw and living food area. She has a great story I'm sure she will share with us today. She now has an online shop selling all these great foods and also courses on how you can make them yourself. So it's going to be great to ask her how she has done that and how's it going at the moment and what she had to overcome to get there. So let's get right into it. Yoko, tell us your story. What's behind these amazing things that you're creating at the moment, and how did you get there?
Yeah, so I suppose my health and wellness journey started about 15 years ago when I was pregnant with my baby. So she's not really a baby anymore. She's like 14, 15 now. So just like any other, many mums, I wanted to eat healthy for myself and for her. So that's how I started kind of digging into like healthier food. And I suppose the biggest impact it had on me, like to decide to go on like plant-based, was to see Peter Singer at Sustainable Living Festival, maybe about, 13 years ago, something like that. And he was talking about how food production impacts us as human beings, the whole environment, and all the living beings on this earth. So probably like overnight, I just kind of switched the mentality of what the food is to us and to the society. So I did macrobiotic for a while, maybe 2 or 3 years, quite strictly. But macrobiotic, if people don't really know what macrobiotic is, it's not so much a diet. It's more of a philosophy. So we talk quite a lot about yin and yang, like energy of food, and how those energy of the food can affect us physically, mentally, and spiritually. So I did that for a while, and I studied holistic nutrition. That can open the door to raw foods. So first time I tried it, because in macrobiotic there's a lot of cooked food, not so much raw foods. They they have a lot of like cooked grains, seaweed, fermented food, which is great. I love it. But we didn't do too much with raw food. So first time I tried it, it was kind of a new thing for me, but I just loved it. The energy that it gives me was amazing. It's just the vibration of raw food. I think that's just something magical about it. So I was just like hooked, and I just love that lifestyle. But the thing that I was missing was that community. Like I didn't really have anyone else to kind of get excited about this like new lifestyle, not just raw food, but eating sustainably and ethically, and just consciously deciding, what you're spending money on. So I just felt quite isolated, and there was not many places. I mean, now there's so many amazing places in Melbourne, like really, really great. But like say 10 years ago or so, there was not much. I couldn't really take my daughter to places, and and felt like 100% comfortable, and I just didn't feel like there was community support around me. So, I felt quite, isolated and, quite lonely a little bit. And then I was working as a chef, doing some private catering, met some amazing people. But, it was just always my dream to have my own place to, share my love for, this amazing food. And yeah, and I suppose I did it.
Amazing, really cool. So you said you felt lonely and a bit isolated. So what inspired you really to start? Like, was there some trigger point or anything in particular that made you, okay, now I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, I suppose I suppose you have to go into a bit private, but I broke up with my daughter's father, and because he wasn't really supportive, what I was doing. So after that, it was like, yeah, this is my time to shine, and I don't know, sometimes like when you have this like big dream, when the time is right, everything just goes really smoothly. I was like looking into different places. I was or driving past this place, and this place popped out. It was a perfect location. It just started happening. So I don't know, sometimes you just have to trust that to happen.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So when you started, I'm sure maybe the universe showed you by giving you some flow to get this started. I'm sure you were facing some difficulties you had to overcome to make it work and to succeed with it. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What maybe especially at the beginning, because that's probably the most turbulent time.
Yeah. So I think because I haven't done this kind of business before, I was always, like say, working for myself, being a chef or having private, catering companies and things like that. But I think one of the strongest challenges would have been letting go and work and life balance. So for the first like few months, I was just like doing everything. So I get to the cafe, you cook or, you create meals, you serve, you do the waiting, you clean, you get ready for next day, you do all the admin. So I was doing everything by myself. And that was the time that we didn't even have a dishwasher at the cafe. So, I was like working nonstop. And then I just realized, okay, well, this is not sustainable. And especially because I was a single mom as well. So I've started hiring one person, but I found it quite hard to just let go of what I used to do. Even just like doing dishes, because I had my own way of doing dishes, and I didn't, want anyone else to come and just change the way I was doing.
Where
So,
would that come from? Probably from your Japanese heritage there a little bit. Through there a little bit.
yeah, I mean, like, I think my dad works really hard, and you kind of watch your parents work hard. As you grow up, and you kind of used to that sort of speed and mentality that you have to do everything. Yeah, but I think when you want the business to grow to a certain size, then you have to start letting go. And then I didn't really want to start hating this place either, because I was here all the time. And why I started this business was because I loved creating these amazing food, and connecting with the community. That was a big thing. But because I was so tired, I didn't have any inspiration left, to create more, or to to go out and meet more people, or to organize different events and dinner events and other things like that. So I think that's what I think you were talking about what was your why. So this is, I think, the most important thing when, you face challenges or struggles and things like that. You always have to go back to why you started and what gives you joy, and then now I know that I have to start kind of letting go of things that doesn't serve me anymore. Might have to hire more people, might have to, get rid of things that's not going to work in my business, so that I can just, this business can be sustainable, and I can serve, more people in a more meaningful way.
Can you remember something you like you got rid of in your business, and that to make, don't know what to say, declutter it and make it more efficient? Do you remember something that?
Yeah, because I'm one of those people who always have like different ideas in my head, and it just doesn't stop. I think that's for, those, for many of us who are, entrepreneurs, always have ideas and can't get everything done. So for a while, I wanted to publish like in-store magazines for, customers to read and all that stuff. And I was working really hard at it, but for a while, after a while, it just didn't work out. So I just said, oh, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. And also we were doing, so usually opening hours is Tuesday till Sundays, 9:30 to 4 o'clock. So it's more like lunchtime. And we might do some, dinners or special events, but it was never like, well, it's not regular dinners that we serve at the moment. But last year we were like experimenting with like long Friday nights, or just regular Saturday night dinners or something like that, but it wasn't working out then, so we stopped doing that. So it's everything that I've done was just more, it always kind of came from my ideas and my heart, and if it doesn't work out, I'm quite open to changing it. Yeah,
It's amazing, and I think that really comes down to, and what I totally believe in. I think it's finding your wine, which creates new ideas all the time, and then you just have to give it a go. And yes, when you're passionate, you are able to push through it, but you also have to find the point where you say, okay, actually now I have to stop this here because it's not working. But it is a trial and error. And in hindsight, was there something, what was a positive? Did you learn something out of these experiences?
Yeah, I think just to add to what you've just said as well. So even the magazine ideas or dinner ideas that I've had, it wasn't, they weren't bad ideas. I think they are still good ideas, and we might still do that, in the future. And I'm actually thinking about, doing more regular dinners anyway. But it just wasn't working out for my personal life and relationship with my daughter. So that was a reason that I've decided not to do it anymore. So I suppose what I've learned from it is just to be a bit more flexible, and not just always like go the business, just going business. There's something else that's really important to me, which is family and creativity and things like that, that might not bringing in more money or status or anything like that, but that give me joy to live in this life. So I think that was the most important lesson, just to say that success in a business is not the most important thing, for me. It's relationship and love and feeling freedom and being flexible is more important than anything else.
Very good. And I think this is so important also from what you do, because that's what I felt when I was looking up your website of Shoku, that it's not just about good taste and things like that, but it's also about nurturing yourself and your body, and that's also not just the physical things, but also the inner game, what we always say, right? So your self-care is so important, because otherwise, as you said, whatever you do will not be sustainable. It will not
Yeah,
be able
right.
to
Yeah,
continue.
I mean, the food comes a big part. I mean, even when I was busy, like working like crazy person, I think only reason that I could go on for that long was because I was eating well and exercising or doing meditation, every day, even for a small amount of time. Um, and I really do believe that food is so important, because I think so many people get a bit disconnected with the food in your body and your mind. But when you consume something, it becomes part of you. The food becomes part of you. So if you're not having something that's not, vibrating at that high level, then, how are you? How can you be, thriving in life?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think, even though I say, yeah, sure, food is not everything, there's so many things that you need to do to have a happy life. But like just choosing consciously what to eat is, I think, is a huge part of wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. What are your aspirations or your vision for the next couple of years? What have you planned to do?
Yeah, so many. There's so many things happening. So because I'm getting better at letting go, I've been hiring a few more people in this business, and we want to expand our business to more retail sections as well. So, because this place is not just a cafe side, we sell different herbs and products and things like that, and education, because I mean it's great if people can come and eat this nourishing food, but I'd like them to take away something or learn something from us, so that they can create their own meals that will, nourish them as well. So yeah, our mission is to, expand our product line, more educational programs, and just do more community events as well. I think my aim for this year and next year will be doing more community events and charity work, just working with different businesses to, kind of like lift each other up. And I think that's one of the things that I love doing anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's absolutely inspiring and motivating and energizing to have a community around you who is in line with you, and you
Yeah.
can brainstorm about anything, and always cool ideas come up, and new inspiration come up.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that I wanted to start this place was, as I said, I felt really isolated. So community, like this community, means a lot to me, and yeah, I'm just so grateful that I could do what I do now.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at the community side, or maybe, but also a little bit more into the online shop area, so distributing your products, trying to, I think you mentioned trying also to get into retail in that kind of sense. What do you think is the biggest challenge right now to achieve that for you? Like what is the biggest barrier there?
Yeah, well, because okay, so we've been doing this for a long time, and I have been, into herbs and things for a long time, but only recently that more people are educated about, tonic herbs and medicinal mushrooms, and more kind of alternative herbs and things like that. And I have been seeing many products come out really recently, and just getting onto that, trend, even though maybe they haven't researched properly, their products might not be as high quality as it should be. So my challenge now is to kind of, I suppose, stand out of that inferior products, and just to, I suppose, educate them, you know, what what they should be looking out for.
Yeah, very good. And I guess because it's fairly new, or like not explored much, especially not standardized. There's
Yeah.
no comparison level there, right? So
Yeah, that's right. Like, for example, so we use medicinal mushrooms a lot, like reishi, chaga, cordyceps. These tonic herbs are just absolutely amazing. And but they have to be really good quality and has to be processed in a certain way. I've seen, like, for example, like some reishi, like cheap reishi on the market now, that they use reishi that's grown on rice, and it's not how the reishi is grown usually. And it's not processed properly, it's not dual extracted to get all the the beneficial compounds out. It's water extracted or just grounded, mushroom, which is not going to do anything for you. So these things, it's actually quite frustrating to me that these brands just, not just, I suppose, these like tonic medicinal things, but even like plant-based food, even people who don't really believe in this kind of thing or not really educated properly, but they just use that label to make money or stand out or something.
yeah, trying to get in front of the trend by
Yeah.
simply using the words. Yeah, I mean that's often what high budget marketing is about, right? So using certain words that trigger certain emotions, and then you can easily attract quite a lot of people if you have the budget, right?
Yeah, no, probably I've got a lot to learn from those big budget marketing.
Well, right?
I wish they could tell me some tips.
Very good, very good. And the other question I just had before, when it comes to, like, let's say hiring the first person in your business, doing everything, because I totally agree with you. If you are a small business owner, it's a little bit what I like to call, it's a little bit like being a plate spinner, right? So you have all these different plates, which are all these different tasks, and you're running from one to another, and at one point it becomes too many plates, and you won't be able to sustain it anymore. So you need to get someone else in to help you spinning those. What do you if I would ask you now, looking back, and when you hired your first staff, like what do you recommend is the best way to go about it? And
so I think first thing is to determine what you're good at and what you like to do. I think for a while, everyone, I think, has to try everything. So the basic idea of running a business in every level, in every sector. But for a while, after that, I think you just have to decide what you're good at, and just getting someone else to do things that you are not really good at. Like, for many of us, like including myself, money or accounting was not my big, the strongest point. So I had to hire a bookkeeper. So, and maybe another advice is just to do it slow. Especially when you're starting out, the money is a big thing too, and it's a responsibility of hiring someone, because you're responsible for their financial side of life as well. So maybe just have one person just help out, and then once you start getting more comfortable with that, and then you might have to either give this person a bigger responsibility or hire another person.
very good. I think that's probably one of the best ways to go about it, to really suss out what you're not good at, because outsourcing, let's say, or hiring someone to do something you don't like doing will really empower you to do what you really love doing, and that will really grow your business, like really make your business better. Because if you can focus on what you're really good at and where your passion is, that's when you will do your best work. If it's
Yeah.
distracted by other things, that will actually also diminish what you're really good at.
Yeah, and I think sometimes for me it was some sort of ego thing as well. Like, you know, I used to think, oh, I can do everything by myself, or you know, I do this, I work so hard. You know, we carry this like medal saying I work really hard, medal, you know. But I think it is okay to have a little space so that you can be creative. You know, you should have a little space that you can just like, hey, well, I'm going to go for a walk now. You know, I'm going to spend some time with my friends and families. And then you can come back and be inspired again. So it's not just like, I do this like things that I'm really, you know, passionate about in this business, but you just have to kind of take yourself out, have a little holiday, you know, even a day or half a day to kind of, you know, ground yourself.
Very good. Yeah. Yoko, at the end of the interviews, I always ask my interviewees about the 3 best pieces of advice. And I think there were already quite a few in there that over the last 15 minutes or so that are really valuable. But maybe you can summarize them and you can give them to us again and make it free. Awesome.
Yeah. So the first one would be go back to your why. You know, why you've started your business, and that will, like, when you get to uncertainty in life, and that will always you know, give you some sort of answer. So that's number one. So, you know, finding your why. And another one is to just to know that you can't do everything by yourself, that you have to let go, and you have to invite other people in to help you. And I think if you're doing a great work from your heart and your passion, and there are so many people who want to help you, you know, but you know, if you're just too rigid or just too proud to just say I need help, then you know, you don't even, it's not just for you missing out, but it's for them missing out as well. So that's number 2. I think just invite people to help you, you know, ask for help. Number 3 is to maybe like if you run the business, it has to be something that you really believe in, because it's hard work, you know. It's no question about it. I've never worked this hard in my life, you know, but then I can do it because I love what I do and I believe in it. So it has to be a passion and love and meaning behind it. So yes, I think that's the 3 advices.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I so agree with you. It's just so important to have these really strong roots. And I always remember this quote I'd like to use, which is, if you have really strong roots, there's no reason to fear a storm.
I love that.
That really comes to you know, having this passion, this really deep why, and then we can push through a lot of things. And I've been doing what we're doing now for over 5 years, and I can definitely confirm what you're saying. It's hard work, but if you have that why, it's extremely rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just reminds me of this idea of a tree, you know. Even there's a storm and they might like swing about, but when the roots is really grounded and set, you know, it will still be there after the storm. Even though it might be some challenges and a little like confusion around it, but it will always come back.
And the more struggle you have, you know, the more storms there are, the stronger the tree is. And I think that is also the same for a business owner.
Yeah, definitely. After all the struggles and challenges, you come back stronger.
Yeah. Yoko, this was amazing. Thank you so much for joining in today and let me have this nice chat with you. It's really great.
I enjoyed it so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I invite everyone to go on shokuiko.com.au. Is that right?
Shokuikuaustralia.com.
Australia, that's right, shokuikoaustralia.com. It will be in the podcast notes and the vidcast. You will see it underneath right now. So look up Yoko's website. It's really great. You learn a lot about what she does about raw and living foods, and there's a great blog as well. You can get also recipes. So there's lots of cool stuff. If you want to know how to overcome the struggles with your online presence in general, please also ask these questions in comments below. If you have questions for Yoko, please put them in. We're definitely happy to answer them. And I'm super excited also for next week's episode. So make sure you click follow and subscribe to the podcast. And I see you all next week.
Thank you.